KGT, baby.
What's cracking, y'all? It's your boy Junior Mafia coming back to you with another video. So I had just been informed yesterday that there has been some releases from certain WWE superstars, ranging from NXT, SmackDown, and Raw and whatnot. And I'm gonna look into them, see who's been released, and get my personal takes on top of that. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go on Twitter and we're gonna check out what's available. So scrolling up here from Wrestle Ops, according to them, they saying these are the updated roster of talents that's been released, and we see in the range of Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Dakota Kai, Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade, Eddie Thorpe, Riley Osborne, Jakara Jackson, Gallus, Oro Mensah, and Javier Bernal. And when you scroll up here too, they said that Chauncey was informed by WWE that they would not be renewing her contract, which is coming up soon. So out of this roster right here, I will say there's some people that I haven't really paid close attention with. Whether they was probably NXT, SmackDown, whatever the case may be. But there's a lot of names on here that sticks out to me that I felt like should have had a way better opportunity with the company. And to me, those names are Jakara Jackson, Shayna Baszler, Braun Strowman, and Dakota Kai. And I'll explain that right here and there. So, in my opinion, somebody like Jakara Jackson has potential. You know, I feel like her form though with the metaphor. You know, I seen she had like that it factor alongside with Last Legend, and truly believe if given the time and given the opportunity, they definitely would have been good, especially in the tag team division for women. Case in point, when they had that, I believe, that Fatal 4-Way tag team match at Crown Jewel, I definitely love the chemistry and whatnot, and definitely feel like somebody that can come on to the main roster and showcase their dominance. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, the match they put on, you know, it was a little bit of botches, but you saw how good it was and said, okay, you could potentially take a chance on them, you know, if given the opportunity. And I thought that was going to happen probably either leading up to this year or maybe next year and whatnot. And they get called up and probably have a good run with the tag team titles. But I guess that hasn't been the case, and you know they were going to keep Last Legend because somebody like Last Legend, like, you do not let her go. You know, she gives me so much of like Jade Cargill and whatnot. Two big women in there and whatnot, very athletic and that can go and whatnot. So that's what I see. But I feel like Jakara Jackson should have stayed and, you know, just give her time, let her develop, and I think she'll be good from there. So I hope she do well in her next journey, whether that be either TNA or potentially AEW. Whatever the case may be, I hope she really do good there. So, you know, that's my take on that one. Then I want to get towards Shayna Baszler. And that is what we have an issue with. Because somebody like Shayna Baszler, and let me turn my screen over. Somebody like Shayna Baszler had all the potential in the world. I loved her when she was in NXT, when she was the Queen of Spades, and when she had the NXT Women's Championship. She was a force to be reckoned with. And when she got to the main roster and whatnot, I was expecting the same dominance and that same push that she had when she was in NXT. But when Vince McMahon was in control of creating and whatnot, It was dominant at one point, but they kind of took their foot off the gas with her, and she pretty much had an up and down type of career in WWE. And I felt like where they could have really redeemed themselves, especially for her, was after she pretty much retired Ronda Rousey and whatnot when she left the company, and you could have took that momentum right there and potentially push her, whether that's for the SmackDown Women's Championship or the Raw Women's Championship at the time. And I truly believe Triple H dropped the ball with her, and it kind of sucks because she was the force to be reckoned with, and whatnot, and she just been taken as a joke, forming her with different tag teams and whatnot that didn't make any sense at all, where she could have just had her own single run, and it was pretty messed up. So I was upset when I got found out that she got released, and was looking at them like, okay, you could definitely revive her, and we'll see how things go. But I won't be surprised if she ends up at AEW or anywhere else like that and build her stock up again to where when she's in a position that she's in to where she comes back to WWE, this time they won't screw everything up. Because don't get me wrong, I definitely see her coming back, but with a whole new regime and everything. So, I'm really hoping for all the best right there. And, I'm just upset. She got released. I'm just upset about that. And then Braun Strowman. This is when it gets tricky. Because Braun Strowman, I'm not going to lie, when he had his feud with Bronson Reed, that chef kiss. Like, they really knocked it out the park where both of them collided with each other. That was must watch. And once he got hurt in that War Games match, I'm talking about Bronson Reed, it kind of diminished their rivalry and all that, and they were still trying to find work for Braun. And when he had that altercation with Jacob Fatu, I was thinking, okay, maybe they may go somewhere with this. But after that whole thing happened, it was, what else is left? You know what I mean? And I feel like Braun Strowman's stock was at an all-time low. And we thought it was going to get brought up again when we had the feud with Bronson Reed. And then once that injury happened, that kind of derailed everything because we didn't know the time frame of when Bronson Reed was going to be back. And then we look at the Jacob Fatu situation. You didn't want Jacob taking L's anyway because you want him to be dominant. You still want him to be that monster, no pun intended. And, all those things and whatnot. But for Braun Strowman, it was like, what else past that? And that's where the buck stops. And instead of just him being in catering continuously or put him in meaningless matches, what can you do with that? Now, I know people think, you could have had him compete for like the mid-card titles and stuff, but it wouldn't make any sense. So I think him being released by WWE was pretty much the nail in the coffin because they couldn't really do so much and whatnot. And if I look at everybody else, especially from Raw or SmackDown and their feuds, seriously, with the wrestlers on that roster, who do you think could kind of match up with Braun Strowman? I could count off my hands probably at least 2 or 3 people, maybe. And that's probably it. So, him getting released, it sucks that it happened, but they wouldn't have any work for him. And you don't want to put him, like, on, like, the main event or, like, WWE main event or these other shits that don't really matter so much. So, for all intents and purposes, maybe it was the right call to do so. And then I'm pretty sure he's going to find work and whatnot, most likely AEW. if they decide to even go that direction to get him. And that's all. There's that. Then I want to get to Dakota Kai, who, for me, just like Shannon Baszler, I am highly upset about because I've been on a Dakota Kai train of her definitely getting a push, and with her being with Damage Control, I was looking forward to branch out and pretty much get her own run. And now with the introduction of the women's mid card titles, the women's United States Championship and the women's Intercontinental Championship, so I was pushing for her to get at least one of those. But this all starts from, if I'm not mistaken, the Queen of the Ring tournament, which I believe she was in. So y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she was in there, and I wanted her to go all the way to win it, because if that being the case, it definitely would have helped out a whole lot. So when she didn't win, I'm like, okay, next step, she needs to become the women's Intercontinental Champion. And when they had the tournament to determine who's going to be the first ever women's Intercontinental Champion, first thing that crossed my mind was Dakota Kai. And then the same thing I felt when the Women's United States Championship came into play, I wanted Zelina Vega to win it. And because I'm like, she deserves a mid-card title because of the grind and everything she put in there. But we see how Chelsea Green won it. And I'm not mad at that because Chelsea Green has charisma. She's just very, very entertaining, and she can go in the ring. So having both of those, you will have somebody like that to bring that title prestige. So she did a hell of a good job with that. And I'm glad Zelina Vega got that. But to stay on topic right now with Dakota Kai, when there was her and Laura Valkyria and her competing and whatnot, let's be honest, I truly, truly wanted Dakota Kai to win. And not to say like Laura Valkyria is not bad. She's a very good champion. She's a workhorse. And I love what she do on Raw. But let's call a spade. Dakota Kai definitely deserved that opportunity to win singles gold around her waist. And I feel like they dropped the ball with her. Because I guarantee you, had she had one, the crowd would have been over with her big time. You still see that even now. When she branched out from, Io, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. I saw that grit and I saw that willpower where you look at her like, okay, she deserved that opportunity. Apparently that ain't happening. And people can make the argument because of her injuries and whatnot, which I can understand too, but there's a lot of people that have been injured consistently as well that won championships. So I'm not going to use that as an excuse. And believe you me, had she had it right there, she would have put on some good matches. So that kind of hurt me a whole lot because there was an opportunity and they never capitalized on it. So, Triple H plays a big part into that. And, it's just sad. It's absolutely sad. I hate for anybody that on this list right now to be released because these are people who pretty much, fighting to put foods on the table, keep a roof over their head, doing everything. So it kind of sucks, but I'm pretty sure they do got work outside of WWE, whether it's streaming, whether it's other things that have money generating and whatnot, they'll be fine. And I'm pretty sure opportunity is going to be knocking at their door for other wrestling promotions. So I think they're going to be good, after this whole situation that's going down. And my takeaway after all of this is they got to do better. They have to do better. On time management, on people getting TV time, all of those things. because seeing stuff like this is gonna bring in a whole lot of questions, and those questions being, well, why is this person not getting an opportunity? You take SmackDown, for instance, being 3 hours. So for those 3 hours right there, if you time manage, you can put certain superstars in there to branch out to see what they about, and the WWE universe can be behind them. You know, for those 3 hours, you got to take advantage of that. And yeah, so I think they just got to be way, 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 way more better when it comes to those things. Um, but yeah, that's how I feel. I don't know if there's gonna be even more WWE releases. I will hope not, and let this stay where it's at, and then continue to use what you have available. But all I ask is just you give them a chance and see what happens. You know, that's all you can do. So I'm kind of upset at how everything turned out, and really hope that they do find something um from other wrestling promotions and they pretty much raise their stock up again. And then when they feel like they're ready and prepared to come back to WWE, they will be a household name. Because looking at these releases right now, I can tell you this. People like Dakota Kai, like Shayna Baszler, I can see them coming back to WWE better than ever, and you know, being like somebody to where you pay close attention to a whole lot more. I can definitely see that. You know, and I'm just hoping everybody, you know, in the creative side sees the same thing. You know, but it is what it is, man. But I wish them really all the best, and definitely pray that they, you know, find some outside work and whatnot to still keep things going, because I see the potential in all of these superstars. Every single one of them. Even if it's something I never really paid attention to and all that, you know, I know deep down inside, you know, there's other people that do care about them, that supports them, you know, from start to finish. You know, they might probably tell somebody about them, depending on where they at, and then they start to see their work, and it kind of builds up and builds up and builds up to where, okay, we gotta pay attention to this guy and God or woman. And then once they get to that level to where they are a main eventer, a champion, anything like that, that buzz is going to start going around, and somebody's gonna catch wind of it. Whether that's AEW, whether that's WWE, whether that's NJPW, whatever the case may be. So I truly wish them all the best in their future endeavors, and you know, hope if they do return back, that they'll come back way bigger than when they got released. So that's just my point of view on it. Comment down below, let me know what you think about these releases, how you feel. Do you feel like certain supers on here didn't get the push they deserve and whatnot? I want to hear everything that you have to say. So leave it all down in the comments down below. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so I get notified every time I drop content right here on this channel. And I appreciate your love and support. Road to 200 subscribers. Continue to keep God first. Trust the process on anything that you do in life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch you on the next video. Peace.